This is, Kristy, a very special show. This is a different show than most of the others that I have done, because effective today, instead of you and I being business partners, I sort of work for you.
Isn't that strange?
Isn't it an interesting thing? And so it's a really, really big deal. So I'd love to talk about this. So you and I merged our businesses 3.5 years ago. We've worked together as business partners running the business for 3 years. And now it's time for you to take over, owning the business, being responsible for all the stuff that I don't want to be responsible for, which is part of the transition.
Right.
And I'm going to stay on the team myself for another 3 years, or maybe even a little bit longer, if that makes sense for both of us, maybe 3.5 years or something, and sell some real estate and help some people just like I did in the past.
Yeah, I love it. And
Yeah.
continue to give back to the team in the ways that you have with coaching and helping agents. And I think that's, a really great talent that you have, is helping people see things from a little bit different perspective.
I would say, I'm laughing at myself just a little bit, because I don't see anything the way anybody else sees it. I look at it, I'm like, that is not how I see it at all. And I'm like, I think something is wrong with me, but it actually, it works out very well. So let's go back, if we can. Let's go back like 5 years.
Okay.
No, let's go back further than that. So in 2009, I had owned a very, very large RE/MAX office here in Metro Atlanta, and I bought it in 2006. And so I will let all you listeners figure out what happened in 7, 8, and 9 when the market was going to heck in a handbasket. And so basically we lost that business. We just couldn't keep it going. And so I had become friends and close business kind of associates with Pat Finnick, and your maiden name is Finnick. That is
Yes.
your dad. And so when I knew I needed to go somewhere else, I said, let me go over here with Patrick, because I really like him. I don't call him Patrick. I only call him Pat. But
Right.
let me go over here because I like him and I trust him and I feel like we can do good business together. And the reality is, being here in the business that is run by your family, it's been a real honor, because there's mutual respect on both sides. For people like me, you kind of have to leave us alone and support us from a distance and let us do the things we want to, and that's not easy to do. Successful real estate agents tend to have large egos. Is that a good way to say that? The ones that are most successful tend to think highly of themselves. And so I met you because you were working in the property management business with your dad in the first place. That's kind of how you cut your teeth in real estate, right? And so you and I have been at the same brokerage since when did you start? You've been licensed almost as long as me, haven't you?
I think 1 or 2 years after you.
Yeah.
So June will be 24 years for me.
24 years. And
Yes.
so March will be 26 for me,
Okay.
licensed. But you and I have practiced about the same amount of time, because I didn't start until March of 2002 is when I really started working.
So you started a couple of months before me.
But just a couple of months is it.
Yeah.
Just a couple of months. Now, I made it in the grandfathered section for RE/MAX. I made it in there before they changed their commission structure. And unfortunately, you made it in after. That's
I
such a
know.
sad
Somebody
thing.
had just warned me.
So 5 years ago-ish, I said to your sister, who is the operations manager or the chief executive officer, whatever she is, she runs RE/MAX Center and RE/MAX Metro Atlanta. Her name is Tina, does a fantastic job. I've really loved watching her grow into that position, because the first few years she looked like her eyes were open really wide, and she's like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? And she's really come into herself as a leader, and it's really cool to actually see that happen. But I was talking to her, said, hey, I don't want to spend as much time working as I used to, and I'm thinking I'd like to bring somebody in that I could groom to possibly sell them the business. And Tina says, hey, why don't you talk to my sister?
Right.
And you and I started talking. We did it for a couple of years, and then we figured out how to get it together. So my question for you, and I'd like to answer this same question, from me to
Sure.
you. What made you want to combine forces with Cleve Gaddis and the Gaddis Partners Group at the time? Like, what was it?
So I did have a couple of years in sales before I had an opportunity to develop a property management business.
Oh, I didn't realize. So you were sales first, and then you did. Okay.
Sales first. And then, let's see, I had so much knowledge about the rental market and return on investment and how to figure out whether a property was a good investment or not.
Right.
That I was approached by a large hedge fund account to help them purchase properties And so I got started helping them purchase properties. Meanwhile, I was still helping my database, my friends, family, and sphere with their real estate needs. And then, it was one of those things where our business was really running well and we had a lot of things going right, but there were areas where we wanted to improve. And when I met with you, you kind of already had that figured out. You had systems in place for how to handle internet inquiries,
Yep.
Expired properties,
Yep.
different things like that, where we were really just focused on friends, family, sphere, a little bit of internet leads, not high volume.
Right.
And then a bulk of our business was with the investor account. So it was an opportunity for me to kind of diverse and also provide a little bit more training for the agents through your coaching systems and your different programs. And so it was just a good, opportunity to match two different businesses together, but that had similar goals of where they wanted to go.
Very similar values in terms of how we believe business is supposed to be done. But it's interesting because they say in life opposites attract. And the reality is that might have been something that attracted you to my business and me vice versa to your business, is the fact that we bring very different skills to the table. I think, like, really, if people kind of had a look inside your head and a look inside my head, they'd say, oh, wow, this one's at this end of the spectrum and this one's over here in terms of the way they look at things. And I think it's actually done us a lot of good.
I think so too.
I think it's a lot of good. And when I look at you, and your husband is actually in the business with us. His name is Chris. He's amazing. He's been a guest on the show before, and he's really, really good. I'm disappointed I won't be able to have him back on, but it's a family tradition. And you and he are fairly opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Fairly opposite. Interesting now, Tammy and I are almost the same person.
Wow. Let's see how this goes.
Which is interesting. It actually works very, very well because it makes me much more sensitive to the things that she does because it's things that I do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's a very interesting dynamic. So this is not the end of anything. This is an evolution, or this is a change of seasons, or this is, me going from being the steward of the business to you being, the steward of the business. And I think it's really, really cool. So I'm glad that I met your dad many, many years ago. And I don't know if you know this, but I was forced by my business partner to get to know your dad.
Oh, okay.
Because it was at a time when there was so much stress in the market, and she wanted us to create something so that we could make some changes on a regional basis to change the cost structure and things like that. And so your dad and I got started working together, and there was probably 20 or 30 brokers that were involved in it. And by the time we were finished, it was just me and him. That was it. There's nobody there. We weren't able to get anything done, but it's interesting because that's how I met him, was because I was sort of forced into it in a very good way. And I'm very glad that he and I did that. So the business it's a good business. It's a strong business. I would say the way it operates and the values that the business has, and ultimately the business's mission, is it going to change at all? Not
really. I mean, we've always been about serving our clients, no matter, what the need is. If they needed help with, a tax appeal, or they needed help with how to do a quitclaim deed, we have the resources to help them. And so we just put serving our clients over everything else. We recently had an agent on the team who thought she was getting a listing, went on the appointment, was a good friend of hers, and she realized that maybe it's not a good idea for him to list the house right now. And so they talked through it, and it turns out like that the best thing for the client was to wait a little bit longer. And so that's just the kind of team values that we have. We're not going to force someone or try to push someone into doing something they don't want to do, or that may not be a good idea for them. So we're going to be honest about that up front.
Love that. And honestly, my transition to you was a very intentional thing. Right. And it one of the things that I have admired most about you. So I'm a salesman all the way through to the core.
Absolutely.
Which means, I use words to create feelings in people, to get things to happen. I do not manipulate people. I do not tell them something that is not true or anything like that. But one of the things that I admire so much about you that I think is going to be beneficial to all of the people who are here, and the vendors and the partners that we have, and all of the clients, is that you do what's right.
Absolutely.
Period. And you say absolutely, but it's not as common as it should be, because you take it a step further, and even in our discussions, you'll point out when things maybe that you've said are not exactly right, or something that it doesn't necessarily help your position, but you're still doing what's right. And I think, and I just want to say kudos to you. I'm a lot older than you are, so I can tell you I'm proud of you. But it's really amazing the way you do things right, even when it is very, very difficult.
Right. And there's always going to be gray areas in real estate. So it's knowing how to, look at the situation in front of you and figure out, okay, what's the best path to move forward? And that's just how I look at life.
Yep. And how would I want somebody to do it to me?